Good morning, everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain second DevOps program that is working with Maven and also creating a Maven project, understanding the POM file and dependency management also plugins. And this is the second problem in DevOps. Let us get started. So, in the previous lecture, I had explained you about Maven and its definitions, everything. No, what are the advantages of Maven and how it works, everything. I had explained in the previous lecture. So, as we know that Maven is a powerful automation tool and which is primarily used for Java projects. And also, what we do here in this problem is first, we try to create a Maven project and then we understand what is POM, that is project object model file, and also how do we manage dependencies, and also how do we use Maven plugins. Everything we will get to know in detail. So, how do we create a Maven project? So, to create a Maven project or before starting, you should make sure that Maven is installed on your system. So, you can refer to the previous previous videos for installation steps, and also you can verify if Maven is installed by running mvn-version. Okay, this is here. This we have already done in the previous lab. Installation of Maven and setting up of the Maven is done. You should make sure that Maven is installed or not. Again, you should verify it once. If it is not, again you should install it. Okay, and after installation of the Maven, so here there is a standard structure of the project which is provided by Maven. So that what you should do is to create a Maven project. Basically, to create a Maven project, you should write this one. You should type this one. So mvn archetype generate, which creates a basic template for your project, and group ID. Next, we have the group ID. Group ID defines the group or the organization. You can give whatever the group or the organization ID you have, like our organization is g2plus.edu.in, like that. The group ID can be an organization ID. And this MVN archetype generate, which will generate the default standard project structure for any Maven projects. And hyphen the group ID is the group or the institution's ID. And here artifact ID is nothing but your project name. So this is my project name, my app. That's why I have taken. You can change what to whatever the name you want. And then we have a D archetype artifact ID. And here this one, it specifies the template to use. In this case, Maven archetype quickside, it creates a basic Java product. Okay, so this basically, which is what language to be used. It specifies the language to be used for this Maven project. So by default, we should write Maven archetype quick start because we are writing the program in Java. That's why it is mandatory to include this archetype artifact ID. And then we have this interactive mode, which is set to false because this skips the interactive mode and uses the default value. That's it. Okay, so that is all about the template of standard template of Maven. So whenever you want to create a Maven project, it should be Maven, I mean MVN archetype. It should be generate standard one. It will generate that basic structure for the project. And D group ID is your organization ID and or the group ID. And D artifact ID is your project name. And D archetype artifact ID is the Maven archetype quick start. Why do I have to choose this? Because we are writing Java program, hence we have to use this archetype quick start. And we have set the default mode to false because of I mean, we do not want any interaction over here. That's why. And see, you can see the output of this when you hit on enter. So it will give you this, like this, building Maven project, and then it will generate a project structure in these many seconds. That's it. Okay. So once it is done, we should go to the next step. That is la. See, look at the structure of the project is that Maven has given us. So my project has stored under Om AIML and my app under source main Java com example. So this is what we have given now as the group ID. So that has come over here, and this was my project name now that has come over here. Okay. So this is the standard structure which will be given by the Maven when you run the previous step. This is the this is how we get. Okay, this is how we get, and the main application will be here, and you should edit this application, and also pom.xml, this file where project configurations and dependencies are defined. Okay, so this is how we get the structure. That's it. Yeah. So here, if you want to look at what is there inside the POM file, see, you can see here. So it is basically the core configuration file in Maven, which we already discussed in the previous lecture, right? And it describes the project structure and what are the dependencies that we need to run our project. And also it will give us the build configurations. Everything will be given here. And you can see this. So you need not to write this code. So it will be automatically generated when you create a project. Form will be automatically generated when you create a project. So there is no necessity of you writing the code. We should just understand what is there in POM. That's it. So here you can see there is something called as model version. And this model version specifies the version of the POM model being used, what version of the POM we are using here, and group ID, as we discussed in the previous step, it identifies the unique identifier for the project group. Usually your domain address, the company's or organization domain address, and artifact ID, as I said, it is the application name, and artifact ID we know, and version of the artifact, what version of the artifact we are using, this version we are using, and dependency, list of the project dependencies. In this case, the JUnit library is included for unit testing. Okay, and that is about uh, POM file. So POM file basically called configuration file in Maven, and it describes the project and its dependencies. That's it. Okay. If you want to edit the POM file, in case of if you want to edit the POM file, or if you want to add other dependencies to the POM file, then so the previous one was the basic structure which will be given during the setting up of the project. And in my case, let us assume for my project to run, I want a library called as a JSON parsing. Okay, so I want to include JSON, and for that a library for JSON parsing I require. So the dependency which is not there in the POM file, so that we are supposed to add it to the POM file. See, you can see here, everything you should keep it as it is. You should have group ID, artifact version, this dependency, and to that I have added one more dependency called as properties 1.8, because when I tried execution of the second program, I was getting 1.8 Maven compiler is missing. That's why we are supposed to install. How do we install something? So you just have to write it inside the POM file. That's it. So it will automatically fetch uh, the details from the internet. Okay, so it will automatically download from the internet. You should just have to include it in the POM file. So here I have included the compiler, source and target. Both of them should be 1.8 and 1.8. I mean the compiler I had another version of the compiler, and when I tried execution, it threw an error. That's why I changed it to 1.8 and 1.8. Okay, so this you should add it. The properties part you should add it. The rest will be given automatically by the Maven project. And here, so plugins are nothing but to run a project. What are the tools you require? Other tools. So few of the tools will be given by the Maven generation. I mean, when you generate the project automatically. So but the few you should install it explicitly. How do you install it explicitly? By just writing it inside the Maven file. That's it. Okay. So here the plugin is I want a plugin that is Apache Maven plugin. Means whenever we have the updated version of the Maven, it is to be installed directly from the internet. That's it. And also the compiler. What version I require the Maven? It is 3.8.1 version I require. And again, the compiler should be 1.8 and 1.8. That's it. You should close everything, and then now you should run the Maven to download the dependencies. Whatever the dependencies we have added, it should be downloaded automatically. No, to do that we have mvn clean install. Okay, if you just execute this one, it will install automatically all the dependencies into your project. And then yeah, so now we should verify that the JSON dependency we had added in the previous this one, no, we can use it in Java now, because the dependency we have already downloaded. Now we can write a Java program wherein we can include JSON for JSON building. Okay, see here I am in yeah, the package is com.example. So the com.example was the group artifact ID, no, group ID which we have taken in the Maven project, no. So that package you are supposed to write it here. And also we are incorporating JSON that should be included here. I have written a simple example of calling creating an object called as John, and his age is 30. So to print this John and 30, I have written one simple program. So when I try to execute this, it has to automatically download JSON from the internet, and then it has to print John followed by 30 on my screen. Yeah. So we know that Maven plugins or the tools which are required for compiling the code, running the testers, and also packaging the application and more, no, that we already know. So now to the POM file, what we should do is we should add this one org codehouse.mojo, because this execution function, it was not running. In order to do that, we are supposed to include this group ID, okay, for the execution of the Maven code. And also few of the changes that you should do is this one. So com.example.app. So this you should go and look at in the Java file. What the class name you have taken, that should be written over here. Name of the class should be written over here. This is the group ID package that we had included, no? So that we are supposed to execute. So everything will come automatically, but one thing you are supposed to add is this one. To execute the Maven plugin, like compiling, running, testing, packaging, everything, we should include this one group ID, and it will automatically download, and its version should be 3.5.0 version. Okay, and this is how we are supposed to include plugin. You should write it as plugin, group ID, artifact, version. And executions for what type of program you are executing, that is Java, you should mention like this. And then what are the configuration you have? Configuration is nothing but you are supposed to write the main class name of the Java code, and then you should close the plugins, everything. That's it. And after that, you can run Java application by executing mvn exe.java. If you are not getting output for this, you can execute for this one. So exe java execute the main class, and the main class name is com.example.app, like this. Okay, so the previously I was getting error for execution function, that's why I added the plugin in the previous step. You got, no? So, and once you run that, so you will get the output as John, 30. Okay, so that is about the first that is about the second program. Okay, so in the second program, I revised once. So in the second program, what we did was, so we were supposed to create a Maven project. We should understand the POM, and also we should understand managing dependencies, and how do we use Maven plugins. Creation of the Maven project, you should check whether the Maven is installed or not, and then you should go for installation. For installation, we have a huge command that you should understand and you should give. And after the installation of the Maven, you can go to the POM file. If you want to edit the POM file, it is nano pom.xml, that's it, and it will open a POM file. So you will be having the default code inside the POM file. You can just add the dependencies or the whatever the plugins that you want, that's it. Okay, and from in my case, I was not supposed to run the JSON code. That's why I added in my previous POM file, and also exe was not executing, and that's why I added org.apache.maven plugin to run my exe code. Okay, so that's it. So creating Maven project, and then understanding POM file, how to configure a project using POM, including project details, dependencies, and plugins. And then how do you manage dependency, how to add external dependencies to the POM XML, and then using Maven plugins, extending Maven's functionality to run your Java application, or simply to other tasks. That's it. So that is all about program 2.